This is my list of 13 depreciated supercars and sports cars that you can own today at significant discounts. These supercars and sports cars are fun to drive, they look and feel modern, and they will still turn heads. But thanks to depreciation, these cars will not break your bank. Before I start my list, understand there's no such thing as a cheap supercar. The maintenance of these cars can still be costly. Before you buy anything on this list, make sure that it's independently reviewed by a mechanic who's an expert on that brand and that you have a good service history from the owner or selling party. The McLaren MP4 12C. When the McLaren 12C came out in 2011, it was faster and more performant than any similar offering from Ferrari or Lamborghini. The first models had 600 horsepower from a twin-turbo V8. The car was rated 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. The McLaren 12C has dihedral butterfly doors and looks stunning from any angle. As new, the base price was $233,500, but on the used US car market, you can find this car at a staggering 50 to 60% off its original MSRP. The Ferrari 360 came out in the early 2000s, but you may not notice that at first glance.
See how much fun driving can be when you go bareback in the open air on a prancing horse.
The 360 Spider features a V8 engine that outputs 400 horsepower at 8,500 RPM and can reach 180 miles per hour. The 360 Spider can go 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds, and while you may not win many red light races today, you will still look very good at those red lights. Many of these cars are garage queens that have less than 20 or 30,000 miles on the vehicle. You can find pristine examples in the $80,000 range. Ferrari is still a mysterious brand to general public. Throw the top down and enjoy the breeze. The Audi R8 is an affordable supercar that still attracts a ton of attention, and the early 2008 to 2012 iterations have been under the $100,000 price range for quite some time. The car still wows people so much. Look at this guy. He risked his life taking photos of an early gen R8 while driving 70 miles an hour on the highway for some fake Reddit points. When the R8 first came out, it had a 4.2 liter V8 making 420 horsepower. However, there are V8 and V10 versions available, and you can choose an automatic or manual transmission. Channel your inner Tony Stark and do it. The Aston Martin Vantage. Keep your eyes on these. The early generation Aston Martins were sold as the V8 Vantage or the V12 Vantage, and that V8 model could go 0 to 60 in about 4.3 seconds. In 2018, Aston Martin updated their lineup. The car looks stunning, has a V8, and some of the newer models are already dipping into the $80,000 range. The C8 Corvette. Chevy did a great job on the most recent generation of Corvettes, bringing a supercar to the masses. The base 2020 Corvette has a 6.2 liter V8, and some auto journalists reported going 0 to 60 in sub 3 seconds. Depending on where you live, this car may be a common sighting. Some of the angles on the car seem a bit busy, but the C8 Corvette still gets a ton of looks, and GM added a lot of performance for a reasonable price. There are many excellent used options on the market. You should keep the Corvette on your list. The Mercedes-Benz AMG GT. The Mercedes-Benz AMG GT was the brand's answer to competing with the Porsche 911. The first iteration produced 503 horsepower from a 4.0 liter twin turbocharged V8 engine. True story, I remember one sleepy morning when my dad was driving me to New York City and I saw one of these pass us by. The large V8 bit turbo badging on the side, the low sleek profile, you could tell it was an expensive car at a glance, and this car would certainly make you look rich. A 2017 model, for example, would run you $111,200 for the base car to $131,200 for the GTS variant at MSRP. Now you can find these for nearly 50% off. The Mercedes-Benz SL Class. If you like the Mercedes-Benz GT but maybe don't have all the funds, some older SL class Mercedes-Benz cars are on a steep discount. There are way too many years and trims to cover here, but something like an early 2008 SL65 has a V12 with 604 horsepower. The AMG variant's MSRP is somewhere around the $130,000 range or more, so you are getting incredible deals on these sports cars. The Jaguar F-Type R. The Jaguar F-Type was beautiful beautifully designed by Ian Cullum, released for the model year 2014 and had a facelift for the 2021 model year. The highest trimmed F-Type you can buy, the R variant has a 5-liter supercharged V8. The most striking feature of the Jag, outside of the driving dynamics, is the styling. The car will turn heads. It is a sexy car that is a blast to drive. While the MSRP of the highest trim is well over $100,000, you can find some of these sports cars used at a good price. 981 Porsche Cayman GTS. I wanted to recommend the Porsche GT4, however the prices are way too high for an affordable sports car. Owners of the prior generation Caymans tell me that this car is one of the most enjoyable, capable sports car to own. A 2015 Cayman GTS has 340 horsepower from a V6 and you can option to use a 6-speed manual. It could go 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds. Porsche has always been about balanced driving and having fun on twisty roads. The GTS variant is heavily optioned and spec'd, and you can find some of these cars at a reasonable price today. The BMW i8. The BMW i8 is a hybrid sports car that combines 2 electric motors with a 1.5-liter 3-cylinder engine. This Florida dealer was even advertising their all-electric golf carts for sale on one of their BMW i8 ads I found. While the BMW i8 is not my favorite on the list, the design of this quasi-supercar will turn heads. It has the curb presence and doors to match, but the only people impressed, I think, would be those who don't know much about cars. The official 0 to 60 number stated is 4.2 seconds, similar to other vehicles on this list, but if you wanted something you'd enjoy driving, I'm not sure the i8 would be it. The Lotus Evora. The Lotus Emira just came out, and I think if you're watching this video in 2026 and beyond, this car should be on your radar because I think the prices would have come down by then. The Lotus Evora, on the other hand, was produced between 2009 and 2021, and you can find a 6-speed manual for both a fun driving experience and a sports car that still looks very special. The Nissan GTR. I added the Nissan GTR because you can get supercar performance for very little money, but unlike other cars on this list, the GTR has more of a small subset of enthusiasts who like it, and I think everybody else is oblivious to why it is so special. I'm doing a shout out to The Squid on YouTube, who has a stellar 40-minute car documentary on the Nissan GTR that I will link below. The McLaren 570. This supercar has a 3.8-liter twin-turbo V8 able to go 0 to 60 in 2.7 seconds, and the MSRP for this car was over $190,000. If you watch this video a year or two after it's published, you should keep this car on your radar. This is my complete list of depreciated supercars and sports cars that will make you look rich, however will not strain your bank account. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up, leave a comment on what cars I missed, and thank you so much for watching.